Hi, my place-based lesson is called Technology in Kansas, and it's for kindergarten. This meets the social studies standard number 4, which is societies experience continuity and change over time. It's benchmark 4.1. The student will recognize and evaluate continuity and change over time and its impact on individuals, institutions, communities, states, and nations. It also meets benchmark 4.3, which is that the student will investigate an example of continuity and or change and connect that continuity and or change to a contemporary issue. So my lesson answers the essential questions: what is technology and how does technology help us to meet our needs? So in my lesson, my two objectives are that the student will be able to identify their basic needs and the student will be able to determine how technology helps them meet their needs. And in my lesson, students will specifically be looking at technology in Kansas. So at the end of the lesson, students will be assessed on their ability to work cooperatively in their groups during their investigation activity, as well as participating in large group discussion. Additionally, students will be assessed based on their ability to complete their graphic organizers at the end of the lesson. So the beginning of my lesson will have a discussion where students talk about what technology is and give examples of how they use it in their everyday lives. So then we'll talk about how technology is a tool that actually helps us improve our lives and meet our needs. And then we're going to talk about how people in Kansas may not always have used the same types of technology that they have today. For example, a computer. So students will talk about how in the past, although people might not have had computers, they would have had other types of technology to help them write, like a typewriter or just pencil and paper. Students will then be split into pairs or small groups and have an opportunity to be researchers, and so they'll go on a little investigation where they go around the room at centers and investigate photos of Kansas and life in Kansas in the past, and these photos will show examples of technology. So it might be someone standing by an old car, and so students in their groups will have to talk about how cars have changed and how that type of technology has changed in Kansas since that time. So they'll rotate around the room in these centers looking at different photographs of life in Kansas. My lesson is split into 2 days. So on the second day, students will have a discussion about what they found during their investigation and how their lives have improved with technology since the time the photographs were taken. They will then have a discussion about what their needs are, like food, safety, etc., and they will fill out a graphic organizer talking about these needs and how technology can help them meet these needs. And this will be one way that they're assessed at the end of the lesson. So my lesson aligns with the goals of teaching social studies in that it's teaching students how to effectively contribute to society. By the end of my lesson, students will have an understanding of technology and the role it plays and has played specifically in Kansas society. Those who have made contributions to improving technology have thus made a contribution to bettering our society overall. As a result of this lesson, students will come away with ideas about how important it is to continuously be improving our society. I think my lesson also highlights the importance of coming up with new ideas and being innovative. We all have the potential to improve our society for the better. Skills that students will learn in my lesson are cooperative learning, as they work with their groups to complete the research investigation, and also as they're participating in large group discussion. They will also gain research and investigation skills as they walk around the room and draw inferences about the photos of life in Kansas and make observations about them and record these, whether that's a drawing of what they found or writing a sentence about what they have observed in the photos. So I really liked that this lesson incorporated those research skills for students. My place-based lesson specifically relates to Kansas in that the students are looking at photos of life in Kansas and how technology has changed in Kansas over the years. My practicum placement is at Bluemont Elementary in Manhattan, and so if I were doing this lesson with them, I would try to find photos of life in Manhattan from the past and incorporate that into this lesson. I learned a lot actually from completing this place-based lesson, mostly just how to teach technology to students this young. But the reality of this generation is that these students are very comfortable with technology and have grown up with it. And so it's very necessary that we as teachers engage this kind of ease with technology and try to really incorporate it as much as we can into lessons, because students are so familiar with it and just so comfortable with it. And so having students specifically see how technology has changed since before their time is also very important. So I learned definitely how to teach those aspects to students through this lesson.